The Washington Wizards are hoping to attract Israeli fans with a new Hebrew content push. Since signing Israeli basketball star Deni Avdia, the organization has already launched Hebrew social media pages, and their Hebrew team website will soon go live, as well as a Hebrew podcast called the Wizraeli Podcast. Yaron Talpaz is leading the new digital marketing team in Israel, and he joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Yaron.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So we already have a Hebrew Instagram and Twitter for the Wizards. Tell us about this new Hebrew team website and especially about this podcast that I'm really looking forward to.
So first of all, the Instagram was just launched a couple of days ago, so it's really in its infancy. And I think it's been great so far. The response has been awesome with Twitter starting off. Obviously, in Israel, Instagram is bigger than Twitter, but I think them being an American team where, Twitter is so high with all the sports teams, I think that's why they wanted to start with there. And then looking at the website and the podcast. So website is coming soon. And it will just offer everything you see on the regular websites, right? The schedule, obviously things that are now less relevant with tickets, info, stats, all of that is going to be available in Hebrew. And in terms of a podcast, then just like the team has a podcast that's called Off the Bench in English, it will have a podcast in Hebrew discussing the team, how it's doing, and with an obvious focus on Deni.
The name for the podcast is really clever. Was that your idea?
No, actually, it came from Washington side. I think it was the play-by-play announcer, Justin Kutcher, on the NBC local channel who came up with this. And I said right away, brilliant. So,
well, he deserves all credit for that. Well, I know the team already has Japanese content after they signed a Japanese player. Does this international outreach have anything to do with the pandemic, perhaps forcing teams, to look for new audiences and new ways to make money since they can't really fill stadiums right now?
So I think in general, that's what everybody's doing because of COVID. But actually, the Japanese model is something they started once they drafted Rui Hachimura in the draft of 2019, which was way before COVID. So they went with that. They went with a model where they're investing in all these Japanese assets, and in that case, they even brought a staff to do the almost a daily beat reporting coverage of the team in Japanese. And now they're trying to do the same thing with the Israeli model, even though Israel is a much smaller country, but they saw great engagement here because it is a basketball country. But I would say because of COVID, it's a little scaled down, and I'm doing it from Tel Aviv. At first, let's see how it goes this season. Hopefully, Deni does starts playing back. Coming from the protocol, the health and safety protocol that he's been part of. So getting him back on track. Hopefully, the team does a little better than the way it started, and we'll see how it goes. Probably for next season.
I don't know if you personally know Deni, but if you do, and if you've spoken to him lately, how's he doing out there?
Oh, he's doing great. I haven't, I know him, by the way, from when he was 14, because I was working for Maccabi Tel Aviv when he was just growing up there. But he's doing great. I think the Israeli audience is much, less patient, I would say, than he is. Analyzing every possession where he's not shooting, and he was like always saying, "Be patient, all good." I think he started the season well. Obviously, the 3 weeks being out is gonna hurt a little. We'll see how he comes back as soon as tonight. They're playing the Brooklyn Nets, 2 a.m. Israel time between Sunday and Monday. So that's going to be his first game back. Hopefully, he'll be good and just get better.
Well, best of luck to Deni and the Wizards, and thank you so much, Yaron, for this great interview, and best of luck with your project.
Thank you very much for having me again.
All the best.